all of these Android Wear watches embed the kind of features that you would expect from a fitness tracker. You can set goals. You'll get notifications that help you stay motivated to maybe work out a bit more through the day if you haven't been so active. And they can also help you track workout sessions actively. So if you were doing the spinning with Bradley Wiggins, you'd be able to see just how hard you were working right on your wrist using some of the sensors. But with a large screen and the ability to apply machine learning to the data coming from those sensors, we're actually able to provide experiences that go beyond just helping you track what you're doing and actually show you how to work out. So what you're seeing in this video that's about to start playing behind me is a feature we built called push-up challenges. And if you have never done a push-up before, we can use that big screen to teach you how to actually go about doing the exercise, how to keep the correct form. And then when you actually start doing those press-ups, which I'm sorry, I'm not going to do right now, we can actually analyze the sensor data to see exactly how many you've done to help keep you using the correct form so that you're safe and having the most effective exercise. Now, that's just one example of how we use some of the sensors in these devices. But almost all smartwatches these days are starting to include a heart rate sensor. And if we switch back to the demo here, I'd love to show you something that I'm pretty excited about that we can do with this in the future. So this is the typical trace that you would see from the heart rate sensor on the back of this watch. And this is a trace that I'm showing you that's come just from a piece of consumer hardware. In fact, it's the watch that I'm wearing on my wrist right now. And what these little peaks and troughs correspond to is the blood flow that's measured in my wrist by shining a light in and seeing how much light comes back. And most products today take those peaks and say, look at how many of them there have been in a minute, and give you your heart rate in beats per minute. And of course, that's very interesting. But if we take a closer look, there's actually a ton more information right here. So if I draw a line straight through all these peaks, that actually corresponds to respiration, how often I'm breathing. And of course, that can tell you a lot about how well or unwell I might be. If we look at the difference between the time between these peaks, that gives you a measure of how variable my heart rate is, heart rate variability, which is a leading sign of health in general. And finally, this little notch that you can see here is called the dichrotic notch. And the time between the peak and that dichrotic notch shows you how fast the blood is moving through my veins. And that is something that can be directly correlated with blood pressure.